More than 100 years ago, the United States government set aside lands for Native Americans, called Indian reservations. Each reservation was to be managed by a different tribe that would be in charge of its own government.
The history of our country was dealing with Native tribes as nations and setting up treaties.
To this day, tribal reservations are treated as sovereign or independent nations.
We have the right to govern ourselves, develop our own policies, our own laws.
Tribal governments have been in place in a democratic fashion prior to European arrival, with head men, council of elders, which was inclusive of both male and female, and then also representatives from all the family camps, the clans, so to speak.
In keeping with their history as sovereign nations, the tribal governments are not part of the federal or state government. They are separate, with independent relationships to the United States.
You have over 500 federally recognized tribes, and each one of those tribes have their own unique relationship with the United States government.
The Wind River Reservation in Wyoming is unique because it's made up of two tribes, the Northern Arapaho and the Eastern Shoshone, each with their own government. The first tier of tribal government is General Council, a gathering of any tribal member over 18 who wants to attend.
I would describe the governmental system on the reservation as close that I've ever experienced to pure democracy, with the aspect of the General Council.
The General Council is a meeting of the entire membership of the tribe.
So the Arapahoes have a general council, the Shoshones have a general council.
All the people come in one place to meet.
It's kind of a town hall meeting.
Any tribal member can introduce an item or an agenda item. They bring it to the council.
The people, they're the ones that have the voice.
They bring forward issues, and whatever happens in general council is law, assuming that it doesn't fringe into the other tribe.
In each tribe, the General Council elects 6 representatives to a business council that handles day-to-day business for the tribe.
Here at Wind River, we actually have 2 business councils, the Northern Arapaho Business Council and the Eastern Shoshone Business Council.
And those 2 councils make decisions affecting their tribe.
When you get on a council, that's the first thing. Your people come first, your family comes second, because you're there to take care of your people.
The Arapaho and Shoshone councils protect the people and preserve their way of life. In some cases, the tribal government also provides services such as police, fire protection, and a court system.
In the United States, when you look at our federal government and our state government, we have 3 branches of government: a legislative branch, a judicial branch, and an executive branch. Legislative branches of government make laws, the judicial branch interprets the law, and the executive branch enforces the laws. But looking at tribal governments, they didn't necessarily have the population or land base where that kind of model would make sense. There are some tribes out there that have those 3 branches of government, but other tribes, like the Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho, that have a business council and just a tribal court.
The tribes, they decided they wanted to administer justice using their authority, and so they created the tribal court system.
In tribal court, you have certain rights as either as a tribal citizen and as a United States citizen.
The tribes, when they created the tribal court, they passed a comprehensive law and order code that covered all the laws that were in existence at that time. The laws are made by the general councils of the tribe and the business councils of the tribe. The court interprets the laws. The police department, which is operated by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, enforces the laws. Many times the tribal court is less formal than the state courts. For instance, if elders come in within the court on cases and they're a witness, I don't swear them in because it would, to me, it would be offensive. The purpose of swearing a person is to do something in case they're telling a lie. So there's a presumption that you're going to lie if you're sworn in. So it would be offensive to that elder to be sworn in.
Because we have 3 sovereign governments, a person can be subject to federal law, state law, or tribal law. Sometimes you'll find situations where state laws and federal laws conflict, And usually, because of how our Constitution's written, the federal law reigns supreme. But we do see some situations where state law conflicts with tribal law. In those situations, the federal government and the federal courts usually resolve those conflicts.
While funding for the tribal governments comes from economic development on the reservation, the tribal government also helps with commerce on the reservation. Wind River tribal members create cultural objects, dance and performances, host rodeos, and own businesses, including technology and energy companies and retail stores.
You know, on a national scale, one thing that tribes really struggle with is raising revenue. For some of your larger land-based tribes located in the West, they are very lucky to have oil and gas and other natural resources.
The oil and gas preserves on Wind River provide energy to Wyoming and the United States. A portion of the proceeds goes back to the people of the reservation.
A lot of people misunderstand it, and then Indians think we get a free government check. We don't. It comes from our oil and gas.
If the natural resources come from tribal lands, then it makes sense that those resources and the dollars that are derived from them benefit the people that live on those lands.
Each tribe also has a casino whose revenues help pay for educational programs and other needs of its people.
Casino operations employ 760 plus community members, both tribal and non-tribal. We are the largest single employer in Fremont County.
It does provide jobs for our people. You know, they're working in there now. That's why we want that casino there, to help the people.
Our casino funds 43 separate programs on our reservation, which at one time were either state or federally funded. Now we do it ourselves.
The Wind River Reservation also helps the local and state economy. Tribal members pay taxes, operate local businesses, spend money in the community, and run clinics that are available to residents outside the reservation.
It's an amazing economic driver. People on the reservation spending their money in the local cities and towns.
We do contribute to the state. When we come to Riverton and Lander, we do have our sales tax.
There's a big misconception that Indian people don't pay taxes, and that's simply not true. Indian people pay taxes just like everybody else.
If we go to the grocery store, we pay tax. You know? We buy gas, we pay tax.
The government of the Wind River Reservation is a very unique form of government, both in Wyoming, but really in the United States.
In 1924, there was a movement to make Native American citizens of the United States. Prior to that, that was a kind of an ambiguous area of whether or not they could be both a United States citizen and a tribal citizen.
Because I'm an Eastern Shoshone, I'm also a citizen of the state of Wyoming. And because I'm Eastern Shoshone, I'm also a citizen of the United States.
I'm a citizen of the United States. I'm a citizen of the Northern Arapaho tribe. Our res here, our country, our homeland, and the state of Wyoming. I fought the war. I've done my duty as a citizen. And here on the tribe, you know, I've earned my way.